Good afternoon, Codger Biker here. The question is, would I sooner be in that Bentley or on this bike? Okay, well, don't get me wrong, that looks like a really nice car, but today, in 22 degrees, sunshine, I'd sooner be on the bike. That's just me. But this is just a vlog. Basically, I fitted the Ian Chappell bash plate a couple of days ago, so I always like to take the bike out, just make sure everything's okay. It's been raining since I fitted it. In fact, at the end of that video, what you didn't see, it absolutely threw it down. So this is the first ride out with it. But also, I just basically want to do a vlog, catch up on a few things, and a bit of reflection really. So just get out of town and then I'll be back. So before I go any further, a massive thank you to Tim S, who left a comment about the bash plate and said nice install, but he was a little bit perplexed by how easily I found it to move the right foot pegs. Now, a few months ago I did a video about how the whole of the foot pegs on my bike had loosened. Imagine my surprise as I was looking at the spring and pulled on the centre stand and I noticed this. The whole of this part here is moving. And that's just from ordinary riding. I mean, I don't particularly do much trail riding. It's I ride the S, so the whole thing had come loose anyway. So that prompted me to go around, check every bolt, tighten it, or so I thought. Anyway, when it came to fitting the bash plate, I had no issues at all fitting it because I knew which bolts I'd tightened, I loosened them off and it moved nicely. But Tim said I had a bit more work to do with that on my bike. Yeah, Tim points out there was another bolt inside the engine casing that was holding his foot pegs tight and he had to get that loose before he could get everything aligned. Which made me wonder because I hadn't noticed it, so I went out and checked and sure enough it was loose, and it's been loose for a while. So I've tightened it up the best I can. Now to access that bolt you need to really remove the brake pedal, get it out of the way. So I'm going to have to do that properly another day. I've tightened it pretty good, I guess it's about 90%, but I'd like to take that out, blue thread lock it and tighten it up properly, which is a job I will do one day. It's okay for now. It's triply okay because I've got the Ian Chappell skid plate holding it all in place anyway, so that bolt's almost redundant. But I have tightened it up. So Tim, thank you, you're a star, mate. As I always say on this channel, it's just an idiot and his tools, and it's just for entertainment, I hope. I'm certainly not instructing you how to do things, but yeah, I learned something, which is great. Which brings me on to another question somebody asked me about my channel. Quite an odd tone. He said something along the lines of, "Oh, why don't you just leave the bike stock and ride it because it's perfectly good, the OEM bike." I always think when you get that, that's somebody who's either, I don't know, the current generation who, nice to see them, said afternoon, the current generation who just buy things and use them and then throw them away. But it's my assertion that you cannot treat a bike the same as a car. They're pretty much luxury items and you need to keep an eye on them. By keeping an eye on them anyway, you get nice comments from somebody called Tim who points out something you didn't know and you learn something, and things like that, you know, could save your life. I have a friend, Boogie, who lives on a boat. You may have noticed his name at the end is on every video. I always use his music. And if he lived on a boat and just sailed it and did nothing to it, well, he wouldn't have a boat for very long. So me and Boogie are both old school. If we're interested in something, we like to learn as much as we can. And one of the ways I learn about things is by adding parts, taking things away, trying them out. It's my hobby. I very rarely drink these days. I gave up smoking 17 years ago. I used to spend a lot of money on cigarettes, so I don't need to justify it to anybody, but the money I save on cigarettes and booze certainly pays for my tinkering around on my bike. So, one thing about the new bash plate that I noticed immediately, I haven't got the leg of the centre stand bashing me on the calf every now and then. So that's nice. Also, it doesn't matter how good the springs are on the centre stand, if you go over bumps you do tend to get a certain amount of not so much clanking, but you just notice that it's moved. Whereas now the bike feels very solid. It feels very solid around the pegs, feels very solid when I'm going over bumps and things, so I quite like that. Of course, I will miss it if I need to treat a puncture or something out in the field, but generally speaking, if I'm working at home, I can use a paddock stand. There's evil in the air and thunder in the sky and a killer on a blood-soaked streets. Don't think that's the lyrics actually, but you know. Near enough. Feels good standing up. Oh, look at these fields. Well done, field. I haven't seen you for a while, but you've really come on. Making the most of that rain, I see. Keep it up. Top work. Yeah, so this is the sort of territory that I have my bike for, so you can see. Don't really need an R, but it's nice to have a little bit of ruggedization. The roads tend to be sort of muddy, gravelly, ripped apart by tractors. It's a working area. People always think the countryside is there for show, but it's actually an industrialised area. The industry is agriculture, and if you've ever been near any of the machinery that are used on modern farms, they are huge things. No way they're not industrial vehicles, so it tends to be quite a lot of impact upon the roads from all that activity, and also they tend to be roads that are not very well maintained by local councils who are busy in the city. So nice to have a middleweight adventure bike for going around in them. It just gives me a sense of well-being being out here. Really enjoy it. It's kind of area which I grew up, so it makes me feel at home. Although I was in Lincolnshire in those days, this is quite reminiscent of the area where I lived. So that's why I have an adventure bike, is for this kind of riding, and so that I can go a couple of 100 miles across country on the motorway and go and ride similar with my friends over on the East Coast, as I did when I was a boy. Yeah, so this is the sort of typical kind of lane I like to ride on. You can see it's broken tarmac, potholes. It takes quite a hammering from the local agricultural machinery. It's their right, they live here. So it's a good place for an adventure bike. You don't need to necessarily go to the extent of Adventure R. Also getting hit by flies in the face, which is why I've got my glasses on today, because I like to ride with my visor open, but you have to take the impacts if you do. Having said these aren't very well maintained, look at this, it's just been resurfaced. Beautiful. I'm still going to take it easy because you can't see what's going on. Another good reason why an adventure bike is useful down here, as would be a trail bike, is you can stand up and look round corners. Sometimes you can see over the hedges cars coming, as long as you're not going too fast. That's all very lovely. It's a free service I offer. Just let me know where your field is and I'll come and have a word. If it doesn't work, you get your money back. And there's back to the old road. In a way, I prefer the older bits of road. So although it's, you know, it's not, in no way is it heavy duty off-road, it is very vibration intensive at times, and you tend to be doing sort of 40 miles an hour or so. So that's another reason why maybe nuts and bolts have come loose on my bike, and why I've decided to just do a little bit of ruggedisation. Just pull over in here and have a quick look. It's a place where I like to look. Yeah, it looks like wheat. It's obviously made quite a difference since the last time we were here, although there's still quite a lot of mud at the entranceway and a bit further on. But yeah, not bad given everything you've gone through. It's been a very, very dry period and then a very, very wet period. Yeah, I'll give you 8 out of 10. Try a bit harder for the next time I come, please, will you? Yeah, it's done very well, the field. It's just this bit here, look, around this tree, which I think was flooded. So I don't suppose you can hold that against it. Okay, I'm going to just pull in here a minute. The sun's gone in, obviously, and just show you where we're at with the ruggedisation programme. So as I say, mainly I like to ride knackered country lanes. That's where I like to be, given a choice. But they tend to be very harsh on suspension. So this is quite a heavy headlight, and there have been reports of these snapping the pegs here, so I've added a support bracket there. I don't know whether that's needed or not, but it wasn't overly expensive. They're having a sale, so I got one, fitted it. A bit of a pain. It's on my channel. Again, don't follow how I did it, but if you're interested, you can have a look at the procedure and then do it your own way. I have bark busters. I've had bikes break levers in the middle of nowhere before, just by falling over, so I think they're essential. And then the recent addition is the Ian Chappell bash plate. You can see it's already getting mud on it. There you are. If Ian's watching this ever, it's getting some use, so I'm very pleased with that. I do like it. As I say, I did have to lose a centre stand, but I've also lost that clanking that you occasionally get over a big bump, and also it did used to poke out at the back here, and occasionally bash the back of my leg on it, so that's gone now. So yeah, all good fun. I need to clean that chain. It's absolutely covered in gear oil, which is disgusting stuff. I'm going back to ordinary chain lube. I know gear oil's supposed to be just as good, but it makes such a mess and it smells, so that's another job to do. That's coming off. And other than that, I've got a very cheap tail bag. I think it was 20 quid. It's as good as any, and the 360 camera and another cyclist. So that's where we're at. Now I'm going to ride on a bit more over these roads. This is a nice piece of road, but quite often these roads are very, very, very badly maintained, and you bounce around quite a lot, which is why I judge that a few extra parts over the OEM bike are in order. Certainly the bark busters and the skid plate. I don't know about the headlight support, but it's there anyway. I've got one more thing that I'm going to add in the ruggedisation series. Should I do that as a series of videos in a week or two, if it works out? So you have to keep watching the channel if you want to know what it is. Tally-ho! So here we are, up on top of a motorway. I can see that traffic's not back to full normal, but there's plenty of it. Cones apart. Looks like they're doing some cleaning out of the central reservation. I think that's what that is. Oh look, there's a 1290 go past, got that on video. Stand up and see. Pretty fishing. Hello horses. Hello. Another tight corner. Another one where you hope that there's not a tractor and trailer coming round. But slow down. Codger has learned. At 17 I'd have gone round at full speed on the wrong side of the road. This bridge is on a sharp left angle. It's like a right angle but it goes the other way. I can't really stop, but I can look. There you go, over the bridge. They're old, those bridges, aren't they? These canal bridges are so old. 18th century probably, I know. Not an expert on brick walls. That's the Chronicles of Mr. Fish's territory. And I don't suppose he watches my channel. Right, well, that's my little meander, my little update, my little confession about my loose bolts. Just remember, Codger's channel, just a bit of fun. It's I think Rob Campbell01 put it best. Motorcycle diary, that's what it is. And me and Rob have had an interesting week. Inadvertently become embroiled in a battle between two much larger players in the motorcycle scene. I'm not going to go into any details, Rob will one day maybe. If you keep tuned to Campbell01 you can catch up on the goss. But for today I'm going to have to go home, miss the forthcoming storm. I've had a lovely time, hope you've enjoyed it. Codge Biker is out! Like an England batsman. Unfortunately, I was concentrating on that car, I didn't see it properly. Epic fail. Imagine being on that, probably about 110 kilogram two-stroke twin or something. Those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end when we were young, forever and a day. Oh, it's going.